Hello, welcome to MBK Study. In this video, I am going to explain you about mirage and its formation, applications of total internal reflection, refraction through a glass slab, lateral shift and vertical shift. So students, without delay, let's start the topic. Mirage. What is mirage? Definition. It is an optical illusion. Optical illusion. Remember this point. So mirage is an optical illusion where it appears that water has collected on the road. If you observe in the figure, this is the road and it appears that the water has collected on the road. But when you get there, we don't find any water. So that is called optical illusion. So this type of optical illusion we call it as a mirage or mirage. Formation of mirage. So the path of light rays when there is no change in density of air. This is the light rays. Here it is traveling straight line. This is the path of the light rays. Why? Because no change in the density of the air. In the surrounding air, there is no change in the density. So that's why the refracted ray of this. So the ray which is coming from this tree, it is traveling in a straight line path. Now we know that the formation of a mirage is the best example where refractive index of medium varies throughout the medium. During hot summer days, air just above the road, this is the road, and just above the road, the air is hot, and the air at higher altitudes, at the height, is cool. It means that the temperature decreases with height. At the height, the temperature decreases. As a result, density of air increases with height. Here the density of air of the cool air is high. We know that refractive index of air increases with density. Thus, refractive index of air increases with height. So, we can say that the cooler air at the top has a greater refractive index than hotter air just above the road. Light travels faster through the thinner hot air than through the denser cooler air above it. So in short, we can say that height increases, temperature decreases, density of air increases, and refractive index increases. Once again, if height increases, temperature decreases. If temperature decreases, density of air increases. If the density of air increases, refractive index decreases. So in short, we can say directly here, the height increases, refractive index increases. Once again, height increases, refractive index increases. So therefore, refractive index of cooler air at the top cooler air is greater than refractive index of hotter air just above the road. Here the refractive index is less, here refractive index is more at the top. Or we can say, as we go depth, the refractive index decreases. So here this is a cool air, refractive index is more, it is a hot air, refractive index is less. When the light from tall object, that is a tree, or we can take the example here, sky, passes through a medium. So the medium we have considered here, surrounding medium, through a medium just above the road, whose refractive index decreases towards the ground. It suffers refraction and takes a curved path because of total internal reflection. Here, the light is traveling from denser medium to rarer medium, that is high refractive index to low refractive index. When the light is traveling here, it takes a total internal reflection takes place. This refracted ray reaches observer in the direction as shown in this figure. This appears to the observer as if the ray is reflected from the ground. For this observer, it appears that this refracted ray is reflecting from the ground. Hence, the observer feels that the illusion of tree. If we take the sky, illusion of water being present on road. which is we call it as virtual image of the tree or virtual image of the sky, and the inverted image of tree on the road. So this is how the formation of mirage it takes place. Applications of total internal reflection. First application, brilliance of diamonds. Now here the brilliancy of diamonds due to because of here in the diamond total internal reflection takes place. That is the main reason for the brilliancy of diamond. And one more thing is here, the critical angle of diamond is very low, that is 24.4 degree. That is very low. So if light ray enters a diamond, it is very likely to undergo total internal reflection, which makes the diamond shine. If the light enters straight or normal, then it straight travel, it gets reflect, and it comes out. Simply it comes out. But when the white light enters on the side of the diamond, then here total internal reflection takes place. It refracts here, and the angle of incidence it makes here is greater than critical angle. That is 24.4 degree. More than 24.4 degree it makes the angle. So that's why total internal reflection takes place. Again it reflects here. Again total internal reflection takes place. So multiple reflection takes place in the diamond. And at last when it come out from this curved surface, from the surface of the diamond, then the light it disperses. So that's why the diamonds it appears bright, or we can say here the brilliance of the diamond is due to because of total internal reflection which is taking place inside the diamond. The next application is optical fibers. So total internal reflection is the basic principle behind the working of optical fiber. An optical fiber is very thin fiber made of glass. It is made up of glass, or it also made up of plastic, and having its radius about micrometer, that is 10 power minus 6 meter, micrometer. If you see in the figure, shows the principle of light transmission by optical fiber. In the second figure, if you see here, that is a sketch of optical fiber cable. So because of the small radius of fiber, this is the fiber inside, it has very small radius. The light going into it makes a nearly glancing incidence on the wall. The angle of incidence when it glances here, the angle of incidence make is greater than critical angle, hence total internal reflection takes place. So the light is thus transmitted along the fiber. So here due to the total internal reflection, light is traveling like this. You can see, you can observe in this picture. So in medical field, the use of optical fiber. All organs of human body are not accessible to the naked eyes of the doctor. For example, intestines. The doctor inserts an optical fiber pipe into the stomach through the mouth. Light is sent down through one set of fibers in the pipe. This illuminates the inside of the stomach. The light from the inside travels back through another set of fiber in the pipe, and the viewers get the image of the outer end, generally fed to the computer screen. We can see the image of the intestine on the computer screen. So one more application here, that is telecommunication field. The other important application is of fiber optics is to transmit communication signals through light pipes. For example, about 2000 telephone signals approximately mixed with light waves may be simultaneously transmitted through a typical optical fiber. The clarity of signals transmitted in this way is much better than the other old method or conventional method. This is what about the application of optical fiber. Now let's see refraction through glass slab. So let's see what is a glass slab. A glass slab is nothing but a glass slab is formed when medium is isolated from its surrounding. The surrounding medium and the glass medium refractive index should be the different. So it's surrounding by two plane surfaces parallel to each other. So then that type of medium we are calling it as glass slab. Aim. So to understand lateral shift using glass slab, here we are going to find a lateral shift of the glass slab. Material required: drawing board, pencil, chart paper, clamp, scale, glass slab and pins. Procedure: place a piece of chart on a plank and clamp it. Place a glass slab in the middle of the paper. Draw borders line along the edges of the slab by using the pencil. Remove it. You will get a figure of rectangle. Name the vertices of the rectangles as A, B, C and D. Draw a perpendicular at a point on a longer sides AB of the rectangle. Now draw a line from the point of intersection where side AB of rectangle and perpendicular meet in such a way that it makes angle 30 degree with the normal. This line represents the incident ray, the ray which we have seen in the figure, that is the incident ray. So this ray we are calling it as incident ray. This line represents the incident ray falling on the slab, and the angle it makes with normal represent angle of incidence. This angle we call it as angle of incidence. Now place the slab on the paper in such a way that it fits in the rectangular round. Fix two identical pins on the line making 30 degree angle with normal, such that they stand vertically with the same height. By looking at the 2 points from the other side of the glass slab, you have to go to the other side of the glass slab. Here you have to go and you have to see through this glass slab, these 2 pins, and fix 2 more pins in such a way that all pins appears along straight line. These all 4 pins should appear in a straight line. By looking from the other side, you have to fix these 2 pins. Remove the slab and take out pins. Draw a straight line by joining the dots. When you join, up to where you have to join? By the pins up to the edge CD of the rectangle. This is the CD of the rectangle. Up to here, up to this point you have to join it. This line represents emergent ray, the ray which we got in the figure. That ray we are calling it as a emergent ray. Now draw perpendicular line to the line CD, where our last line drawn meet the line CD. Measure the angle between emergent ray and normal. You will get the angle same. This is called angle of emergence. E is equal to 30 degree. The angle of incidence and angle of emergence are equal. I equal to 30 degree and E equal to 30 degree. E is angle of emergence and I is angle of incidence 30 degree. So both we got here angle of incidence and angle of refraction equal. Angle emergent ray, this is angle of emergence. Now join these 2 points inside this slab. Now the angle made by this ray, that is refracted ray. This ray we call it as refracted ray with the normal is angle of refraction. These 2 angle R are equal. This angle of refraction R and this angle of refraction are equal. Why? Because these 2 are alternate interior angles. Now extend the incident ray. When you extend the incident ray, that incident emergent ray are parallel. This is the emergent ray and this is the incident ray. These 2 are parallel. The distance between the parallel ray is called lateral shift. If you measure the distance between these 2 lines, incident ray and emergent ray, and this distance we call it as lateral shift. So like this we can find the lateral shift for different angle of incidence. To find the refractive index of glass slab by calculating vertical shift, In the previous section we have taken the lateral shift. Now we are taking this slide is vertical shift. So first of all, you have to measure the thickness of glass slab. So like this you have to take the thickness of glass slab. Now take a white chart and fix it on the table. Take the glass slab and place it in the middle of the chart. Draw its boundary. Remove the glass slab from its place. The lines form a rectangle. Name the vertices as A, B, C and D. Draw perpendicular line to a longer line AB. This is the AB. To this longer line you have to draw a perpendicular line as shown in the figure. Place glass slab again in the position ABCD. Take a pin, place at a point P in such a way that its length parallel to AB on the perpendicular line. This is the perpendicular line. On the perpendicular line you have to place the pin, should be parallel to AB at a distance of 15 cm from the slab. Now take another pin. By looking from the other side of the slab, try to place the pin so that it forms a straight line with the first pin. Now by looking through this slab, you have to fix another pin here on the same side of the slab so that they should appear in a straight line. So one thing you have to note here, so these two pins should be in a straight line if you see from this side. While doing this, keep your eye fixed along the edges. Fix your eye along the edges of the glass slab. And first pin is seen through glass slab. This is the first pin you have to see through glass slab. Whereas second pin is seen through air. This is the second pin you have to see through air. That is outside the glass slab. Now draw the perpendicular line from the second pin to the line on which first pin is placed. This is the perpendicular line we have drawn. This is the first line. To this line you have to draw a perpendicular line. It meets at the point Q. Find the distance between the P and Q. The distance between P and Q. This distance we call it as vertical shift. And by using this vertical shift we can calculate the refractive index of this glass slab. By using this formula, refractive index is equal to thickness of slab by thickness of slab minus vertical shift. For example, I have taken here refractive index is equal to thickness of slab is 6 and vertical shift is 1.9. So 6 by 6 minus 1.9. So 6 by 6 minus 6 minus 1.9 you will get 4.1. When you divide you will get refractive index is equal to 1.47. So like that we can calculate by using the vertical shift by having the formula refractive index of slab is equal to thickness of slab by thickness of slab minus vertical shift. Okay, my dear students, this was all about mirage and its formation, applications of total internal reflection, refraction through glass slab, lateral shift and vertical shift. Hope you like the video. If so, don't forget to subscribe my channel and share this video with others. Thank you for watching.